Welcome to The Practical Intuitive, where each Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, where host Robin Fritz explores mind, body, and spirit for the real world. Because we are all intuitives and healers, and we must all learn to love ourselves and live that love every day. Robin is a trained and certified intuitive and spiritual consultant and hypnotherapist with an international practice based in Seattle, Washington. As the Practical Intuitive, she covers personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice. It's all here. Readings, healings, and funny, warm, thought-provoking conversations. It's Robin Fritz, the Practical Intuitive, helping you mastermind body and spirit for the real world. No ifs, ands, buts, or BS ever.
Welcome to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington on what is a real spring day. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today. As always, my work is to help you tap your intuitive and your healing abilities, because I know for a fact that everyone has them. Most of us just don't know how they work, and so we're not making the best use of those innate talents. So we talk about that on the show, and we talk about many, many subjects, from space clearing to animal communication to what our dead are up to and how to connect with them, to past life regression and between life regression and soul clearing and energy healing and the multiverse and everything. We also are honored when we are joined by special guests who are trying to help us live our own best lives. And today that would be Amy Walker. Amy Walker is a nutritionist and fitness expert, and she's going to be talking about nutrition, fitness, and well-being, and also introduce to you her Wake Up Global Summit, which is airing here in another week or so. So before we get into that, let's talk about how to contact us here on the show. And that is, you can call in live if you're listening live to 202-570-7057. And we're happy to take your calls for a quick reading, or in particular, today you have an opportunity to ask Amy Walker about some nutritional or fitness advice that she may have for you. But if you're shy and you don't want to call in and talk live, you're also welcome to email me at my website, robinfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. Or you can find me on Facebook at The Practical Intuitive, Robin M. Fritz, and pretty much anywhere on social media, but I'm more active on Facebook and Google Plus than in other areas. So let's launch into the show today by first having a meditation with the crystal Fallon. Fallon is a citrine Lemurian quartz. He's a very rare quartz crystal all by himself. Lemurian quartz is found only in Brazil. Citrine is an addition to the Lemurian. Citrine is stone of abundance, of being grounded. So he has a faint yellowish cast to him in certain lights. But Fallon is an ancient healer and truth bringer, and you can experience his energy here on the show, whether you're listening live or in the archives. And your connection, like all your connections to things, is best depending on how strongly your intuition works in certain areas. So if you're feeling things, you see things, you hear things, or you simply know things, that's how you will be connected to his energy. So this hour gives you an opportunity to release the cares of the day, to put them aside, and to join in a very active metaphysical community. So if you take your attention to the top of your head, imagine that you're connecting with Fallon, and mind, body, and spirit are coming together to give you this experience with him, with us in community here. And as you breathe down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, just let the cares of the day flow away. those things that are blocking your energy from freely flowing, just allow them to move away. So breathing down from the top of your head, down your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Fallon works very fast, so just you can feel a rapid whoosh through your body. And now imagine him as a gold light, if you will, outside your body, rotating there. Fallon is currently in the shape of a crystal ball, all crystal ball jokes aside. And so as he moves up outside your body, you're welcome to just enjoy that energy, welcome it into your heart. You can imagine it flowing into your heart, and with each beat of your heart, flooding your body with healthy, healing energy. So moving up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. You may notice your crown chakra, the top of your head, wide open, and you might feel a little lightheaded, and don't worry about it. We'll close it down at the end of the hour, but that's one way that you know your intuition is working and you're connected with him. So, welcome again. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist, so you can contact me at my website, robinfritz.com, for personal or business intuition, to talk with your animals, to connect with your dead, to do a past life regression, a spiritual awakening, a soul progression clearing, which clears out your blockages, fills you up with healthy energy, energy healing, and so on. You can find me at my website. But today I'd like to welcome nutritionist and fitness expert Amy Walker. She has a whole bunch of very impressive numbers, letters after her name. She can explain that to you. But Amy is an expert. And she worked in the fitness industry for over 15 years before she launched her company, Nutri. Okay, I can't say it. Amy, you're going to have to say it for me. In 2010. So Amy has helped individuals, groups, and corporate clients achieve their fitness and nutrition goals. But here's the interesting thing about Amy that you're going to want to tap in today. She found her passion by using nutrition and fitness to find relief from panic attacks and depression. Amazing, right? I mean, you didn't think it could be like that there would be some natural solutions to that. So Amy has a real, whole body, mind, body, spirit connection to nutrition and fitness. And so she's going to talk to us about that, about how our life choices affect our mental states and our nutritional choices. And she's also going to talk about her Wake Up Global Summit. So with all of that, wow, Amy, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Robin. It's great to be here. And thanks for that meditation. It was lovely.
Oh, yes, Fallon is awesome. I get emails all the time that people look at the website and then Fallon visits them while they're out and about walking around, and they're like, is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, keep trying to train him, to have the PayPal connection there so they can pay for it, but it's a joke. He loves connecting with people. So, Amy, tell us how you got into nutrition and fitness. Tell us quickly how you did that.
Wow, it all started when I was about, I'm going to say 22, which was a long time ago, but it was around about that kind of time, and I actually was with my dad whilst he had a heart attack. So my dad, yeah, he's okay, he's still with us now, so, but he was working a really stressful job, which he really didn't enjoy, but he was of the generation whereby you got a job and you had that job for life, so he was there, right. I'm going to say about 35 years. Yeah. So, and forgive me, Dad, if you're listening, but his lifestyle wasn't too great. He drank and smoked a fair bit, and obviously, time took its toll with the stress on his job and, the lifestyle that he was living. It paid detriment to his health, essentially. And Sure. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, because when you're 22, 1 o'clock in the morning is still early. It's certainly not now at 40. But at 22, I was sat watching telly in my room, and I remember my mum coming in saying, Amy, you're going to have to sit with your dad. He's having a heart attack. I'm going to go downstairs and phone an ambulance. So she did, and I went in, and, you know, I witnessed my dad in quite a lot of pain, and he,
Oh, dear.
you know, I knew, it was terrible, but I knew that if he saw me panic, that it would make him worse. So I was yelling at him, going, it's okay, you can cope with it. And I actually think I punched him in the arm a couple of times, which isn't really probably
Dad,
what he
don't
needed
leave.
at the time. Yeah, I was like, you're okay, you know, which is exactly what you need, isn't it, when you're having a heart attack, your daughter punching you on the arm. So
Yeah. You're okay, Dad, you're not having a heart attack.
We've got quite a boisterous kind of relationship, so it was kind of fitting, but not at the same time.
Right.
So he went off to hospital and he's fine. But that kind of, I don't know, that kind of sparked something in me. When you're in your 20s, a lot of us don't really have a grasp of mortality and how fragile it is. And
right.
I kind of got that there and then. So that's when I decided that I was going to start learning to be more healthy. I was going to change my lifestyle, and I was going to try and learn enough so my dad would listen to me. So, of course, that didn't happen. I'm his daughter. Of course, he's not going to listen to me. But so that's what I did, and I started off in fitness, and I worked as a personal trainer for a while. Until kind of like injury got the better of me, but I still help people with their fitness and advise them on it. I then moved on to do a diploma in nutrition and one in nutritional therapy, and then my degree in nutritional science. And in 2010, I started my company Nutritionist, that no one can say. You're not alone.
No, just me. Just me. I have trouble with names.
No, it's okay. My friend Abby was advertising the summit that we were talking about. We're going to be talking about a little bit later, and she did exactly the same thing. And I was watching her Facebook Live, chuckling away to myself. So I started that in 2010, and since then I've been helping people with their health to incorporate positive health and lifestyle changes to make them powerhouses, essentially. So nutrition is a part of it, but also your environment, as you're well aware, Robin, is absolutely fundamental and key. So that's kind of how I got into it. Does that explain it okay?
That is awesome. You know, it's funny. We've talked, for the audience, Amy's based in London. She's here in the United States right now, which is lucky for us to be able to talk to her at a decent time of day for her if she'd been in London. But I didn't know we had so much in common. Both my parents had heart attacks, and both my parents had bypass surgery. They were quite a bit older, but still, it brings it home to you. And right after his heart attack, my dad developed rheumatoid arthritis, and it took a lot for them both to give up smoking. But still, the dietary changes weren't the best. And what was really interesting is the time period that, they were young in, and they went through World War II. My dad came home from the war malnourished, and so he believed that the diet routine that they followed, at raising us as kids was healthier, not realizing that it wasn't. So, things change over time. So, what can you talk to us about, life choices? And you were saying how that affects your mental state and your nutritional choices. And this is a very keyed in audience here. They're real mind, body, spirit people. So, what can you speak to them about these issues? Because it's a basic fundamental thing. Feeding your body is feeding your mind, body, and spirit.
It is, but you're absolutely right there, and I'm a really strong believer in if you can't find your happy, you're going to struggle to find your healthy. So
that's a good comment.
Kind of approach. Yeah, I think so. I kind of approach nutrition and lifestyle as a whole. So when I first started nutrition, I was under the impression that back in 2010, when I was newly qualified, that I'd be able to give somebody an action plan to follow, and they would go off and follow it and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
well, we can hope, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was a little bit naive. That's not the way human beings work. And they need a little bit of support. So I offer programs now that take you through, 90 days or 6 months. But also what I've learned whilst working with my clients over the last 8 years is that your external environment is fundamental to how much you take care of yourself. So I have a client that was in a job that she absolutely despised, and she just could not, for the life of her, she was emotionally eating. And while she was in that, detrimental environment to her, nothing was ever going to get better, because it's not just about the nutrition. It's about finding what actually causes that person to make the choices they make and helping them through that as well, which is why, it's not something that you can just give someone an eating plan and tell them to go away and do it. You really have to handhold people through life, because it can really knock you down at times. And sometimes you just need that someone that has been through it before, who understands how life. I used to suffer panic attacks and anxiety. I've come from, corporate background, and I gave up my corporate job because it wasn't any good for me. For someone to actually understand how that is and be able to kind of grab your hand and then pull you back up when you're not feeling like you can do it yourself, it's so amazing. I mean, I definitely got coaching and help when I was going through my transitional process, and I do believe that people who do seek that help will actually have great success. So I like to support people through a longer period of time, and the external environment and your nutrition choices, they work hand in hand. If you've got one out of whack, the other one's going to be out of whack. So I work with people to get that happy balance and find they're happy and find they're healthy.
Wow, that's a pretty involved commitment. I mean, it's not just a 1 or 2 time situation. Hang on. After the break, we'll be back with Amy Walker. If you have a question for her, 202-570-7057.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Change and growth are part of natural life and also part of your spiritual life. Everyone needs support and guidance, especially during life passages. Upgrade yourself with the OMTimes Experts program. With OMTimes Experts, you have access to the best intuitive coaches, spiritual teachers, counselors, astrologists, and oracles. Our team was carefully selected so you can trust. Find out more at experts.omtimes.com.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Shopping for yourself or loved ones? Check out the best rock shop around, Earthlight Rocks and Gems in Kirkland, Washington. Whether you're looking for metaphysical support or just love nature's art, Earthlight has it all. Raw rocks, crystals, tumbled stones of all kinds, carvings, cabs, fossils, tumblers, rare minerals in all price ranges, and books. They also have jewelry, including custom pieces and beads to make your own. Open 7 days a week, the Earthlight store has been around since 1988 and is run by Kim and Todd Valines. Find them online at earthlightgems.com, at Etsy at earthlightgems.etsy.com, or on Facebook at Earthlight Rocks and Gems. Have a question? Email Kim at the store, earthlightgems.com. And just for OMTimes listeners, receive 10% off orders over $50 at their Etsy account with coupon code EarthlightGems. That's earthlightgems.etsy.com or the store at earthlightgems.com.
I'm Fidel Mshombo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz. We're live in Seattle, Washington. And my special guest today is Amy Walker. Amy's a fitness and nutritionist, fitness expert and nutritionist, and she's here talking about nutrition, fitness, and well-being. And Amy, I'm so glad you joined us today, and I'm just struck. In fact, I wrote it down really quickly. Your statement: you can't find your happy if you struggle to find your healthy. And wow,
yeah, you can't find your healthy if you can't find your happy. Yeah.
Yep, whatever. I'm writing down as fast as I could here. But it's totally, we don't think about it that much. You see all these health magazines and you see all these tips on try this diet and try that diet, and there's the paleo, and then there's vegan, and then there's this, that, and the other thing. But what about it? What about your eating brings you pleasure? Now, I know I had this conversation with my parents. We have a strong German background, and Germans like, at least my Germanic family, liked a lot of bread, sweet stuff. And and we know that you have to have this huge variety. And so what do you tell people? Like, how do you work with people on understanding that what they eat makes a difference in how they feel?
Well, first of all, I simplify it, because I think most people that I speak to, and I was in Mammoth Mountain in California a couple of days ago, and I was speaking to a lady there, and she was asking me, what do I do? And she was so bamboozled with, like you've just mentioned, all of these diets that are out there. And it really is like super, super simple. All you need to do is give your body what it wants, in the quantity it wants it, when it wants it. Now, that's easy. It's more easy said than done, but that is literally it. Obviously, you get a professional to help you ascertain what that is for your actual biochemistry, but it's really that simple. You don't have to cut out carbohydrates. You don't have to cut out, all fats. There are good fats and there are bad fats, and the good fats are actually really, really beneficial when it comes to stress and anxiety. But it's the first thing I do is absolutely simplify it for them, and just get
so they don't have to wade through a lot of this stuff. Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of noise out there about what you should be doing, and there's a lot of I'm not an Instagram basher, but Instagram is an example of a lot of fitness experts out there, and it gives the impression, and they're doing a fantastic job, and they look absolutely great, but it does give people the impression that that's how you should be, and that's what you should be doing. And in fact, all you should be is exactly who you are, exactly where you are at that exact moment, and just be yourself. And I like to work with people as individuals, and sit down and speak with them and find out what their actual requirements are, where they are in their life, what it is that they want to achieve, what stumbling blocks they might have, and then work to get them through that and get them to their goal. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. It's not as complicated as it needs to be. Or it is
as people make it out to be. So when somebody comes to you, you're looking at their diet and you're also looking at their fitness goals?
Yeah, I concentrate more on diet these days, but I make sure that they are incorporating fitness into their their week. So, I'll meet up with people weekly. Sometimes I meet up with people monthly. It depends what service you kind of want, really. And yeah, I'll make sure that they're they're moving, because it's fundamental to health. So yes, I do work with people with their fitness. I don't necessarily train them anymore though, because I've got bad knees now.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens, right? So when somebody
does.
signs up with you, what is an average time period that they work with you? And they can work with you on Skype. You don't have to work with them in person.
No, I've got clients all over the place. So I'm, as you mentioned, I'm based in the London area in the UK, but I have clients in the US as well. So what we do initially, when somebody signs up with me or somebody starts to work with me, I will take them through an initial consultation, which really gets down to, where they are right now, what their biochemistry is doing. For instance, do they have diabetes? Are they, and they want to control their blood sugar levels and maintain their weight and improve their medical outcome?
Right.
Or are they people that are looking to lose weight? Are they people that are looking to reduce their anxiety? All these kind of things come into it. And I'll sit down with them. It's quite intensive, but I want to make sure that I've got all the information I need. And then what I do is I go away and I work on their case. So, it's not just that hour. For me, it's a lot of research, but I like to make sure that I get it absolutely right. And we put a plan in place going forward to ensure that they get the results that they need. But it's very important to work with the individual's biochemistry. A lot of, not a lot, but some of the programs that I have seen concentrate quite heavily on people in a group. I like to work with people one-on-one because everybody is different.
Right, they are. So have you worked with people who have done things like blood tests to determine what things they might be sensitive to and that kind of thing? Or do you find that valuable?
Yeah, absolutely. I find it completely valuable. You do get the standard people that just want to lose weight that are seemingly healthy in a regular kind of sense. But you do have, I'm working with people, for instance, that have food allergies or fibromyalgia or hormone imbalance. So what I like to do then is I work with testing companies and people's doctors to get blood tests, hormone checks, all manner of tests. There's hundreds of them. I really couldn't list them all right now, and I don't actually know them all. But yeah,
but what
so
works
I like
for
to
that
get
particular
down to,
person? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Have you worked with people who have been diagnosed with what they call the MTHFR gene mutation? Have you heard of that?
Not yet.
That was really interesting. Well, it turns out that it's kind of fashionable now here in the United States for certain types of doctors to be looking at this. My doctor looked at it. She's when I first met her, she's a functional medicine specialist, which is different than your normal medical doctor. I mean, she is a medical doctor, but she has a huge background in the kinds of issues and concerns that you have, and also with naturopaths and supplements and so on. So one of the first things she said to me, like in the first 5 minutes of meeting her, is that you have this gene defect. We can do a blood test to prove it, or I can just get you started on the supplement. It turns out the supplement is methylated B vitamins, but an MTHFR gene mutation affects roughly 40% of the population with ancestral ties to Northern Europe, Western Northern Europe. And, who knows, when we migrated from one country to another over the period of eons, and you're living up in a northern environment where you don't get as much sun and you don't get, you can't grow crops all year long and things like that, that you would have nutritional deficiencies. But it turns out to have ended up in a genetic defect that can be dealt with nutritionally, as well as with supplements. And it affects everything from heart issues to things like fibromyalgia to, all kinds of arthritis, all kinds of things that we didn't think had something like a genetic effect like that. So it's an interesting subject. But nutrition was a large part of dealing with it.
Absolutely. It's funny that you should mention in the same kind of respect. I've done a lot of research on people that have alcohol addictions and drug addictions, and you can be born genetically passed down from your family to have a certain shortage of neurotransmitters. So when you take that first drink, it just lights up your head like you've never felt it before, which makes you more susceptible to addiction. And this is something that's actually happening, but you can reverse it completely with nutrition. So it's just being able to identify exactly what it is, which is why, as you said earlier, the testing can sometimes come in handy, so to speak.
That's amazing.
Definitely very helpful.
That is very helpful. So a quick question. I don't want to get too far off topic because I want you to talk a little bit about the mental effects. But there's a huge thing, and I don't know if this is the same issue in Britain, because I know, like, the last time I was over there, and I was very careful about my diet, and I'd ask everywhere, do you have MSG in this, monosodium glutamate? They looked at me like, what planet did you step off of? We don't even know what that is.
No, we definitely.
They don't have that kind of crap in their food over there, right? But
they have that kind of stuff in their food everywhere, unfortunately. So you just have to kind of look out for it.
You have to be careful. So right now here in this country, I have so many friends that, insist on being gluten-free. And I do understand where celiac disease and things like that require you to be gluten-free. But do you find that a fad in a lot of cases, or are you finding that really becoming an issue? I know that here in this country, they've added so much gluten to the wheat crop over the last 50 years that it's not wheat like our families and ancestors used to eat years ago. And that's all I know about the subject.
Right. Yeah, I think where gluten intolerance has become so well known that people might be tempted, if they have a reaction after eating, to presume that it's gluten that's doing it. It isn't always, actually. So people are gluten intolerant. I have friends with celiac disease, and I have people that don't necessarily work well with wheat. I've had clients I've got one client that, like, just wheat doesn't work for her at all. However, we've had her tested and it's nothing to do with gluten, so it's, people are screaming about it a lot. Are they necessarily gluten intolerant? Maybe not, actually, which is, again, why you can get tested for it. It's if you're feeling like, you're not feeling too well and you want to find out what it is, instead of self-diagnosing, I think a lot of the time it's quite handy just to, just drop an email to someone that can confirm it for you.
Exactly. Somebody like you who can help them break down the issues. And I suppose there's also some sort of way of testing the foods you're eating, like, what did they used to call that? The diet where you restrict it to a certain things and then add things back. The
Rome protocol. So that's when you remove everything that is classed as an allergen, and then you introduce it slowly one by one, just to see what's triggering it.
And see what you react to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is a great way of doing it, and it's a free way of doing it as well, which is kind of useful because testing can be quite expensive, but it is actually quite a long process because you have to remove everything for about 6 months. So a lot of people do struggle with that, which is why testing is so valuable, because it gives you instant results.
Yeah, I think it would be much easier to go through the whole testing process, like the blood test, and find out certain categories of things. I know when I did that years ago, I found out I was sensitive to dairy. Who knew, right? I didn't know. Yeah. And sometimes you don't know. You grow up on things and you just think that the state of your health is the state of your health, and you don't realize there are things that you can do to support that, which is why someone like you who's aware of it, and can look at the issues is so valuable to helping people, be their best selves. And that's what we're out there doing, right? Trying to help people be their best selves. So we're running close to the break here. So tell us a little bit about how nutrition can help us with panic attacks and depression.
Okay, so it's for me, I would say nutrition does help, absolutely, because it feeds our body with all of the nutrition that we actually require. So, for instance, Neurotransmitters are heavily reliant on proteins, certain vitamins and minerals, and essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids, we don't get your omega oils, your EPA and DHA. So many people don't get enough of them, and every single cell in your body is reliant on them. So your neurotransmitters are heavily reliant on them. For them to fire and communicate with each other effectively, you need these essential vitamins, minerals, and oils in your system.
Right.
So your diet, so for caffeine, for instance, caffeine is a terrible one for instigating anxiety, as is alcohol. Alcohol, we affectionately call it the booze blues in the UK, because if you go out and have a few too many beers or glasses of wine, the next day you can feel a little bit glum, and these are big triggers as well. So obviously, if you do suffer from anxiety or panic attacks, these are two things straight away you want to just eradicate from your diet. But it's
so in other words,
but it's not just
having a cup of
lifestyle.
Yeah, having a cup of coffee to get going in the morning, or having a drink because you're anxious, actually contributes to the problem.
Yeah, it can do. It can do, yeah.
Wow, that's scary. Man, I like my coffee in the morning. Amy?
Well, if you're not anxious, that's okay.
I'm anxious if I don't have my coffee because I can't wake up. I have this crazy dog who has to walk. My crazy dog has to walk for an hour in the morning before breakfast. Not an hour, a mile in the morning before breakfast. And boy, that's taken me a year to get used to. It's like, come on, there's fitness and there's eating breakfast and having a cup of coffee before you try to do something like that. So, such is life.
I'm definitely not saying, exactly. I'm not saying that everyone should get rid of caffeine. That's why I work with people individually, because some people
you're
can
talking
be fine
to a
and
coffee.
some people perhaps struggle.
Seattle is a coffee culture of the world. You better be careful what you say that gets broadcast here in Seattle. So, Amy, if you had, we're going to run into the break here, and I want you to hang on after the break. But if there's, okay, so we ran into the break anyway. So hang on, because we're going to ask you a couple questions after the break.
Sure.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On. My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Welcome Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we are talking with Amy Walker, nutritionist and fitness expert. And we're getting to the end of the hour already. But Amy, a couple things. One is, what's the number one thing you want people to know about nutrition and fitness? There was one thing they were going to take away from it today, mind, body, and spirit community. What would you say to them?
It doesn't have to be difficult.
Good.
Yeah, there are so many things actually, but it doesn't have to be difficult.
Sure.
It doesn't. It's not difficult. It's very simple.
It is something we have to commit to, right? And eating right and making it fun, right? Enjoying our food.
Yeah, I mean, it's being healthy itself isn't a complex science for the average person. I think, like I said before, society can, overcomplicate it a little. But once you strip it down,
right,
it's really quite basic.
And it's important. And, the older I get, which happens every year, I don't know how that happens, but every year you get older. And the older you get, the more you realize that everything you've done throughout your life is contributing to where you are now. My parents both died young of heart disease. 68 for my mom, 72 for my dad. And they were horribly crippled those last years. And, while things happen to us, there are things that we can do to make our lives better, and taking responsibility for our food and our fitness is right there, right? It's like the first thing.
Absolutely. And if you're struggling with it, just ask for help. There are certain things that I've needed help with. It's not that, just because I'm a nutritionist and I've, worked in fitness for a while that I get everything right. I absolutely don't. I'm a normal human being, and I encourage everybody to be exactly the same,
Right.
But just reach out and get help.
And that's right where we can lead into how can people reach out and get help from you, Amy? So let's give them some way to contact you.
Okay, so I think the easiest way to contact me is if you join. I have a Facebook group, and it's called the Wake Up Club, and we're going to talk about my summit a little bit.
Yep, we will.
The Wake Up Club is about people that want to wake up to a life well lived. So if you go onto Facebook and you type in the Wake Up Club, that will bring up me, a picture of two people with their hands in the air. And if you join that, there's going to be regular resources, nutrition resources, lifestyle resources, and experts speaking about how you can actually make your life the best that it can possibly be. So that's not just inclusive of health, although that is a big part of it. It's about waking up and realizing that, your life may not be exactly where you are. You have to find your happy if you're going to be healthy. So it's about helping you to find your happy and helping you to get there with support and help.
Awesome. So you can find Amy Walker at the Wake Up Club on Facebook. And once again, I cannot pronounce your website name, but I'll spell it. You can find her at nutritency.com. That's her website. Say it again for me, Amy. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. So it's nutrition. That's okay. Everyone does it. It's part of its charm. It's nutritioncy.com. So it's efficient nutrition. So if you want to email me.
Nutritioncy.com.
Yeah. So if
go ahead.
Email me, you can email me at amy@nutritioncy.com, and that's about AMY, and at NUTRITENCY.com.
There you go. So Amy has another thing she'd want to talk to us about briefly here for a few minutes, and that's her Wake Up Global Summit, which is airing this month. So Amy, tell us about that.
Okay, so as we touched on earlier, what I've really learned in the time that I've been a nutritionist is that you have to have all aspects of your life in check. So if you're going to be the healthiest, happiest person you can be. So we do have a focus on nutrition and health, and I've got some health experts speaking. But we've also got speakers that help, and Robin, you're actually one of them as well.
That's right.
We have, that's right. We have people that can help you live the best lives that you can possibly live. So when you reach the end of your days, you don't think to yourself, I wish I'd done that. So it's all about having one life and no regrets. And I've got people that will help you with your mindset. If you wanted to leave your corporate and start a business, you can do that. If you wanted to travel the world, I've got people that can tell you how you could financially get there. All kinds of people. If you want to enhance your family relationships, or you want to enhance your romantic relationships, I've got people that can help you and are speaking about that. But also people that have really, really inspirational stories of getting past trauma and still doing the things that they wanted to do in life, and not letting things such as trauma or fear hold them back from achieving the things that they want to do. I'm super passionate about making sure that people live the healthiest lives they can, but also the best lives they possibly can. And that's why I've put together this summit.
And there's how many speakers again?
Summit.
How many speakers?
At the moment, there is 20. At the moment, there is 20. So
okay.
We have 20 speakers. Yep, and it starts on April the 16th.
April 16th, and so you can find it. What's the website?
Right. Okay, so if you go to the best place to go and the easiest place to go is to my Facebook group, which is the Wake Up Club on Facebook. It will have all the details in there, so if you wish to subscribe, you can.
All right, so go to the Wake Up Club on Facebook. I'll also be promoting it on my pages and in my newsletter. So if the listeners are signed up there, they'll get it. So we'll do a nice broadcast on that. So Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I not only do I appreciate it, but every once in a while you meet somebody who's just a really cool person and they're fun. And so Amy and I met, online from here to London when we're both kind of like sleepy because of the time difference. Yep. And Amy's a really cool person. So if you're looking for nutrition advice, for support in your meeting your nutrition goals, check her out. Her links will be there on the show page. They'll be on Facebook. So again, thank you, Amy, for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your visit to the United States.
Thank you. I will. I've got the beach in front of me. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
Thank you for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And so, yes, thanks. And so Amy Walker at Nutritioncy, I said it right, NUTRTENCY.com. Really, there's so much to nutrition and to support, our fitness goals, our nutritional goals, and you would think it would be self-evident, but it's not. We hear so many things out in the world today that lead us astray, from where we feel like we should be. And I know one of the ways you can tap into your own intuitive knowing about things like that. I did this years ago when I did a macrobiotic diet, 20 some years ago. Go into a store and just feel what feels good to you in the produce section, for example. I use this exercise too to teach people how to use their intuition. Go into the grocery store, go into the produce aisle. What feels good to you in your body that day? What doesn't? What are you drawn to? What are you not drawn to? And that's a good way to start feeling anything. In fact, I've gotten to that point over the years that I'll never be someone who will be able to order my groceries shipped to me because I have to pick my own fruit, my own vegetables, my own protein sources. There may be a whole bunch of packages, but I'm drawn to a particular one, and that's how I eat. So Amy can help you a lot on your individual path, so check that out. Now, upcoming on the radio next week, April 16th, Your Life with Crystals with crystal expert Kim Villines. Kim is amazing. Kim and her husband Todd Villines own Earthlight Rocks and Gems in Kirkland, Washington, but they have an Etsy site, they have a website, earthlightgems.com, and you can find her Etsy site there. But there are a lot of places to buy crystals in the world, but not all of those crystals are healthy. They are when you buy from Kim. I'm always going over there and finding something new to bring home to Fallon and to the household. And most recently, selenite plate, which is a natural clearing crystal and Mookite jasper, which she talked about on the last show, and I went over there. I'll have to have a piece of that, and of course I brought home a big slab, not a piece, because I can't stop myself. But next week, Your Life with Crystals, so tune in, and if you have questions for Kim, or if there's a particular crystal you're interested in, you can always email me, or you can email Kim or connect with us on Facebook, and she'll be happy to talk about crystals that you're interested in. On Monday, April 23rd, I'm going to talk about energy. What is energy really, and how energy has changed and how to work with it. Now, energy can be a very controversial subject. There are different energy methods out there, from Reiki to natural force healing to quantum touch to all kinds of different things out there. But I'll talk about how I learned about energy, how I stumbled on it, what it is today, how it works. The amazing thing is that energy is sentient. Real energy is sentient, and I call it the ancient DNA of the universe, because that's the best way I can think of to describe what energy shows me it is, and the conversations I've had with energy and how I work with it in my family and in my client base. We are all naturally intuitives and healers, so tune in for that hour on April 23rd. If you have any questions about energy up ahead of time, let me know about that. On April 30th, we are going to have a lot of fun with Elaine Clayton. Sorry, ending the cold here and having trouble keeping my voice intact. We're going to talk about fairies and angels. She has a couple of little books out, a little bit of fairies and a little bit of angels, and she's going to talk fairies and angels and what that means to our daily lives. Little does Elaine know, I'm going to tell the story of how I met fairies and was pretty sure that I needed drug intervention, because I'd never seen anything like that before, and I was like, what the heck is going on? But we're going to talk about what the role they have in our lives and how we can understand them and what their lives are like. So that's going to be a fun, full, energetic hour, so join us for that. So let me also tell you about a couple of upcoming webinars. Tomorrow, April 10th. So if you're listening live, check this out. It will also be recorded. I have 2 upcoming webinars. Well, one's a webinar series. But I have a number of webinars up at the Experts platform at OMTimes. The Learn It Live platform. The OMTimes experts are people who have contributions in the intuitive and healing fields, and we've created webinar series for you at the Learn It Live platform. So tomorrow, a free webinar, April 10th, I believe, at 5:30 Pacific time. You can check it out, experts.omtimes.com/Robin Fritz, ROBYNFRITZ. Meditation to heal and connect with your dead. So we are going to talk about some tips on connecting with your dead, how to set up a ritual to connect with your dead, and then a meditation where right there in the meditation you will be able to connect with your dead on your own. And that will give you a really great grounding for setting up times to connect with your dead on your own later. I do this with all of my mediumship clients. Every single mediumship client here learns how their intuition works briefly and then learns how to use their intuition to help connect with their dead. Why? Because people tell me, I talk to my dead all the time, but I don't hear them. That's fine. They can hear you. They can feel your feelings. They can do all of those things. But on our end, if hearing isn't your top intuitive skill, then you're not going to be able to connect with them as well as you would if feelings is your primary area and you can feel their feelings. So this is a great webinar. We have a huge sign up already. Please join us live. There's some freebies for the live audience, but it will be recorded. So April 10th at 5:30 Pacific time, a meditation to heal and connect with your dead. And then please join me April 17th to May 15th, 5 series of webinars on developing strong energy boundaries. We are all intuitives, we are all healers, but we're not going to be our best at that or even in our daily lives at home and at work until we know what our energy boundaries are, how to work with them, how they fluctuate during the day, and how to manage them. I had to learn it the hard way. My goal is that you don't. Fallon and I have created a way to work with your energy boundaries so you will know what your particular energy field looks like, because every single person is different. No matter what they say, every single person is different. It's not a judgment. It's just we don't know that it's there, so we don't know to connect with it. It is sentient. It is alive. It's there to work with you. In the webinar series, you will be working with me one-on-one throughout those 5 weeks and with each other, but it's not like something you have to do all week long homework. It's stuff that you're going to incorporate in your daily life, and I promise you at the end of those 5 weeks you will know how your energy boundary works. You will be better at home, at work, using your intuition and your healing abilities. So April 17th to May 15th, developing strong energy boundaries there at the Learn It Live platform. So if you'd like a personal session with me, business intuition, personal intuition, mediumship, animal communication, past life regression, soul progression clearing, which is like a shortened version of that, healing, spiritual journey, spiritual awakening, please contact me at my website, robinfritz.com, ROBYNFRITZ.com. Your intuitive sessions can be as short as 15 minutes, but people like to buy an hour and then spread that hour out over a month. But I thank you for joining me today. Let's close down that wide open crown chakra that happens with Fallon. Hands on your heart. Breathe into the palms of your hands. And all you're doing is just giving yourself a moment to get grounded and balanced, letting that energy connect with your heart. Now hold your hands in front of your mouth, and as you breathe into your palms of your hands, just imagine that's energy flowing into your palms, and put your palms back on your heart. Take a deep breath, get grounded and balanced again. Thank you for joining me in this hour. It is an honor and a privilege, and we'll see you next week. Thank you and goodbye. Take care.